today we are going to be reviewing 4 of the most popular Uggs. We have here today 2 of the most popular mini boots and 2 of the most popular slippers. This is going to be a guide for anyone that is trying to pick up any of these pairs this Christmas, but they do also make an excellent Christmas gift. Absolutely anyone can wear these. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Olivia and I have a YouTube channel reviewing sneakers, so don't forget to subscribe if you do want to stay updated with my latest drops. All the Uggs that I did get today are in the colour chestnut, which is useful as you may be able to see some colour variations between some of the silhouettes. We're going to start off with boots. Now these are 2 of the most popular boots. We have the classic Ultra mini boot and also the classic mini 2 boot. These are both mini iterations of the original Ugg boot, and with that it does come at a bit of a cheaper price. The Ultra mini does come in at £145 and the classic mini 2 boot does come in at £165, and the original Ugg boot, which is the bigger version of these, comes in for about £185. So basically the smaller you get, the cheaper the boot is going to be. These do both come in different colours, however I have seen a bit more variations of colour for the Ultra mini. Aside from the size and price of them, they are very similar, but there are some other differences as well which we are going to take a look into. So for the classic Ultra mini boot, we do have the exact same silhouette as all the other Ugg boots. This is more of an ankle boot rather than your normal standard Ugg boot height. On the website they do measure from this part to here and they call it the shaft, and this shaft level measures 3.5 inches. Now I'm telling you that because when we go to our next mini Ugg boot you'll be able to see the difference, and also for comparative a normal Ugg boot is around 8 inches, so this is basically under half. Now one of the things about the Ugg boot for me which stands out when you're comparing them to maybe cheaper versions has definitely got to be the sheepskin quality of the upper, and they have already been applied with stain and water repellency treatment, which is great because I feel like one of the biggest problems with Uggs is damaging the sheepskin upper. This kind of material is so easy to get stains and even water can damage it, so it's great to know that they have been applied with some treatment. We have this overlock stitch detailing on the seams. We also get a pull tab towards the back which is so helpful for putting these on, and towards the back you will see the leather heel label with the embossed Ugg logo. Now the best part of Uggs are the inside. The inside is where all the comfort and warmth is. So for this Ugg, the sock lining is made up of 60% wool and 40% lyocell. We do have a mixture of the wool again with some synthetic material. For the sole we do have the classic Tread Light by Ugg outsole. Now if we take a look at the classic mini 2 boot, you will notice that we do have a bigger shaft. Now this is 5.5 inches, so it is still smaller than the kind of classic Ugg boot, however it is larger than the Ultra mini, which might be perfect if you did want some extra warmth and you wanted your ankles nice and covered. For the upper we do have the same sheepskin material, and as we have this overlock stitch detailing. These have also been treated with the stain and water repellent. Again towards the back of the shoe we do have a pull tab, and the exact same placement we do have the leather heel label with the embossed Ugg logo. However this time is a different colour compared to the Ultra mini boot. For the outsole again we do have the exact same materials. We have the Tread Light by Ugg outsole. Now aside from the height and the price of these, there are 2 other main differences. So for the insole we actually have sheepskin, whereas the classic Ultra mini has that combination of wool and synthetic material for the insole, the footbed. There is another little difference. You will notice on the Ultra mini that the top line is kind of slanted. It does slant upwards towards the front of the Ugg, whereas the classic mini 2 is just a normal cut straight line. To be honest with you, when I tried this on I didn't really think that, you know, this had a huge benefit and that it was so much easier to get on than this. So I have on both. So to my left we have the classic Ultra mini and to my right we have the classic mini 2 boot. One thing to slightly notice, as I said I did get this in the same colorway, the classic mini 2 boot is slightly lighter even though they are both technically chestnut. To my left I would probably say this is the normal kind of original standard color, but for some reason the classic mini 2 is slightly lighter. In terms of comfortability, I would say they feel pretty much exactly the same. I think a lot of that reason mainly is due to the same outsole being used. However, I do say the Classic Mini 2 does feel slightly warmer. Now, I don't know if that is because of the fur. I feel like the fur feels a bit more warm. Weirdly, I can really feel the air that is hitting my left leg. I definitely think the boot having that extra height does make the boot a whole lot warmer. However, in saying that, I do think the Classic Ultra Mini does look really good.
good with that kind of shorter ankle collar. Sizing wise for both of these, I went up one whole size. So usually my size is a size 7, but for these I did go up to a size 8. Now it's kind of a little bit of personal preference, but personally for me, I would recommend going up one whole size. These fit well without socks, but they also allow me that extra room to even wear a thick pair of socks. And I feel like if I'm bringing these out because I want my feet to be warm, so I will wear socks with them.
Both of these are so great, and especially for the winter because you do have that nice warm sock lining. The great thing about both of these in general, and Uggs in general to be honest with you, is that you can pretty much wear them with absolutely anything. They definitely go with that casual, comfy vibe, and especially in winter, this is something that you want. The mini does also come in a platform version as well. I think it was only about £10 more. Choosing what one will obviously come down to your personal preference. I do think if you want a little bit extra warmth, then go for the classic mini boot. I do think that the classic Ultra mini is definitely a more trendier, so if you are looking for something a little bit more fashion, then I would go for the Ultra mini. I may be so bold to say that these next two shoes slash slippers are probably one of the most popular in-demand shoes out of all the shoes this year, and possibly even last year. We have the Tazz and we have the Tazzman. These are effectively a men's and women's version. However, I always say if you can get your foot into it with shoes, they're practically unisex. These both come in around the 100 mark. The Tazz is actually £105 and the Tazzman is £100. So you've got that extra £5, which I'm guessing is because, you know, there is a little bit more material. If you were looking for other colors, the Tazzman does have about 6 colors, whereas the Tazz does have way more colors than that. There are so many options to choose from. I'm gonna take a look at the Tazzman first, as this was kind of the original out of the two. So the Tazzman and the Tazz are essentially an Ugg boot, but it has been cut down, as you can see, and has much more of a slipper look. Now, I think one of the main questions, first of all, before we get into it is this a slipper or is this a shoe? And I just want to highlight the fact that for me, this is definitely a shoe. You can wear this as a slipper if you want to, but I feel like if I'm going to be spending £100, then I want to be spending that on a shoe and not a slipper. It does have all the qualities which we will go into and all the features for an outside shoe as well, but you can, if you want to, just have it as a slipper. For the Tazzman, we do have a suede upper. We also have that overlock stitch lining, which usually we see on the side of the boot, but this goes on the front as well, which I like that they're still keeping that feature. In terms of the Ugg branding, we actually have the Ugg logo embossed on the side as well. One of the best features about the Tazzman and the Tazz is that we do have this embroidered braid which goes around the collar. Inside we do have the sheepskin lining with the wool insole. For the outsole, we have the Tread Light by Ugg outsole, which is exactly the same on all the other Ugg boots as well, which is good for a slipper because you do need that traction. So after the success of the Tazzman, they introduced the Tazz, which as you can see does have a huge platform outsole. In terms of the upper is pretty much the exact same. Again, we do have the embroidered braid, but you will notice even though I effectively got these in the same colorway, the embroidered braid color on the Tazz is a different color. We do have this red compared to the kind of more subtle brown and white. For each different colorway as well, for each of these, it is worth noting the braid is a different color. So again, that might be a little bit personal preference of what color you do get because the braid will differ. Now, one thing about the Tazz that we do have, which I do quite like, is that we have a heel tab. I'm not quite sure why they have added it. In terms of practicality, I don't think, you know, it's necessary. You also have the Ugg logo on the side as well. Now, for the description of particularly the insole and the lining, we'll say 80% wool, 20% lyocell, and then it will say or 60% wool and 40% lyocell. And I'm just a bit confused. How can it be or? Do they just make both and then they just ship them and you just get whatever? That really confused me, but I guess the gist of the story is that they are mainly made up of wool, but they also do have the lyocell as well, which is what you're seeing in some of the Ultra mini boots, which again are kind of a more new version. So I guess it makes sense with the kind of recycled ethos and sustainability. I do always think with a little bit more of synthetic material, it is a little bit less premium and potentially less warm, but in all honesty, you can't tell the difference.
Here I have tried on one each. So on my left we have the Tazzman and on my right we have the Tazz. Sizing wise for both of these, I did go for a size 8, which is one whole size bigger than what I usually get. The Tazzman is definitely on the larger side, and also the Tazz is a little bit large too. As you can see, there is a tiny bit of gap. But the reason why I did size up was because I mainly would wear these with socks. I wouldn't really wear them with bare feet. So if I put on some socks, you'll be able to see the difference. was. Now I have some socks on. These fit absolutely perfectly. They fit very, very snug. The Tasmans as well do fit perfectly. They are a tiny bit bigger, but it kind of depends on whether you want a really, really snug feet. For me, because these are so warm, I feel like I would like the extra kind of room. So for me, going up one whole size was perfect. They pretty much do have the kind of same feeling in terms of the warmth. Obviously, because we do have the platform, it does feel slightly different. For some reason, I guess it does feel a little bit more comfortable because you have that extra platform. Overall though, as you can see, they are pretty much exactly the same. All the differences is that platform. In terms of the colour, I went for chestnut for both of these. You will see that the Tazz is actually slightly lighter than the Tasman, even though they are the same colourway. You only really notice it when you put them together, otherwise you wouldn't really be able to tell.
I would definitely say that the Tasman is a more kind of classic, original, traditional look. So if you are looking for something that is a bit more different and maybe potentially a little bit more trendier, as platform shoes in general are very, very on trend, then I would go for the Tasman. But like the boots, to be honest, you can wear these with absolutely anything, and the fact they are a slipper makes them so much easier than a boot to get on and off. Personally, for me, I wear these casually, just nipping out to the shops. Again, these aren't something you kind of, you know, do exercise or walking in. They are definitely a kind of casual lounging shoe, but because of the silhouette and especially this color, they do simply go for anything. Now, after reading about the mini boots come with that stain water repellent treatment. I didn't see any information about these coming with the stain water repellent. So there we have 4 of the most popular Ugg silhouettes this Christmas. If you have any questions or even suggestions for other silhouettes, please do leave them in the comments below. I hope this video has helped you guys, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one.